Today's video is about composing negative messages, specifically when to use the direct or the indirect strategies. The direct strategy states the bad news first, and then it outlines the explanations, the actions to take, the apology, and then a closing that contains a message of goodwill. The direct strategy is recommended when the news is not particularly damaging or when the news might be overlooked. The indirect strategy opens with a buffer to reduce the shock of hearing the news. Then it outlines the reasons for the problem and lets the receiver gradually build acceptance, so when the actual news is delivered, they kind of saw it coming. The indirect method is recommended when the news will be upsetting or cause a hostile reaction, when the news is unexpected or will hurt the customer relationship. The scenario is this. Target has had a security breach of credit and debit card information, including customer names, card numbers, card expiration dates, and security codes. And it's my job to write a notification to the 40 million affected customers. When I started putting this assignment together, my first inclination was that this needs to be done using the indirect strategy. The scenario fits every characteristic where the text recommends the indirect strategy. It would upset the customers to learn that they're vulnerable to fraud. They would be inconvenienced by not only having to obtain a new credit card, but all the follow-up activities that come after, such as changing your card information with all your online vendors. I've had to do that a couple times, so I know what a hassle that is. Customers are also likely to be infuriated, and it will threaten the customer relationship. Then I went back through the text and I saw the sample security breach letter, which used the direct method. I dug a little deeper, went online, found some more samples, and all those security breach letters were done using the direct method. So I had to do a little more thinking to figure out why this is. These kind of security breaches needed to be acted upon quickly. Time is of the essence. The idea behind placing the bad news first is that it jolts the receiver into action. Also, according to Pennsylvania State's Journal of Information Policy, the direct strategy helps to overcome optimism bias and rational ignorance. Optimism bias is a mental state where you believe that bad things are less likely to happen to you, such as if you think that you're less likely than anyone else to be involved in a car accident. It's the attitude of, it won't happen to me. Rational ignorance is when people purposely choose not to inform themselves about a subject because the effort involved with learning it outweighs the benefits they would get from knowing the information. So we can see how a combination of optimism bias and rational ignorance could cause some people not to take action. They might think, that would be a big hassle and nothing will happen to me probably anyway. If a company downplays the severity of a data breach, people might not take the actions required to protect themselves from fraud. So I'm sold on that reasoning. If the news requires immediate and quick action, it needs to be stated directly. After all, you wouldn't evacuate a burning building by buffering the information to soften the impact or by giving the reasons first so that the outcome is more palatable. So here's my opening statement. Dear valued customer, we are writing to inform you that the credit or debit card you used at Target between the dates of August 9th and December 18th, 2013 has been compromised. Someone gained unauthorized access to our computer systems and may have retrieved your credit card information, including your name, credit card number, expiration date, and CVV code. We are immensely disturbed by this security breach and are working with investigators to determine how the breach occurred and to find the person or entity responsible. Our biggest concern, however, is for our customers, and it is our desire to help you take action to prevent fraud or other misuse of your information. Then the body would follow, spelling out the steps the customer needs to take to protect themselves from fraud and how Target is willing to help them. It will probably involve canceling their credit cards, contacting the credit reporting agencies, and maybe an offer of free credit monitoring services from Target. And then the closing. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience and concern you experienced because of this incident. We take the security of your personal information seriously and will work diligently to prevent this type of data breach from occurring again. In the meantime, we hope you take advantage of our offer for credit monitoring services. We will stand beside you every step of the way as we rectify this situation. If you have questions about the credit monitoring service or the data breach, please call our Corporate Customer Relations Office at 1-800-123-4567. Again, we apologize and appreciate your understanding as we solve this matter. Sincerely, Susan Westbrook, Corporate Customer Relations Manager. So now we know several ways to deliver bad news and when it's appropriate to use each method.